I took the X-rays. I delivered their films to the appointments. And there's 5 floors. I took their X-rays, bro. Get it? So funny. You're like, what happened to that job? Like, what, did it pay good or something? Oh, that's funny.
I don't know what that means.
Look, you thought I took their X-rays films. Like, I was the one taking the X-rays. You thought I was an X-ray tech.
Right.
You're like, what happened? You're like, what happened to that job? You took people's X-rays?
You were taking their X-rays?
Yeah, I'd take them. So guess what? Like, people would have an appointment. The doctor would send a request down to me and say, hey, I need these X-rays from 1974 or 1984. And then I'd get in the file room and pull the X-ray out, and then I'd take it up to them. Took their X-rays up to them. So check this out. So
That is
when I first went
funny.
to interview for this job, right?
Yeah.
It was the really hardest time. You know, I was like 25 years old. It was a really hard time because I already had 2 kids and probably never met a woman. I don't even understand it. Anyway, so I worked around 7 women for 3.5 years, and it was the best thing ever. So, and I'm still straight. That's the best thing about it. Oh, that's a good one. Hey, that's a hard good joke right there. Anyways, stop that. Are you still into porn? I'm kidding. That's a joke too. Hey, so
Yeah.
it makes me think of a president. I tried to tell if I ever got an edge on you that Jimmy Carter, he's the coolest president. He's the only one ever admitted to committing adultery. But I mean, come on, that's the best
Right.
thing. Anyway, getting back to the X-ray thing. So, when I first went there for the interview, and when we walked in, he knew everybody. He worked in the chart room, which is different. They don't have X-rays, just charts. You know, they write it down wherever it's on paper. So he did the same thing, but it was all, you know, he delivered those and stuff. So he knew everybody. And when he was walking down the hall, everybody's like, "Hi, Lonnie. Hi, Lonnie." I was like, "Whoa!" And this is all a new environment for me. "Hi, Lonnie." And that was right from the first day I was there. I was like, that was my inspiration, right? To like everybody to know me in the whole place. So I got in there, one of my first jobs, because all the girls hated it. They didn't hate it. They hated it. And it took like 2 hours. I mean, you know, it took 2 hours because you had to wait for the elevator. That's the joke. Oh, so anyways, it took 2 hours because there were so many people you had to talk to after about, once you got to know them. But anyways, what I did, I had every floor, I had like 4 quarters. And I didn't know nobody, never been around anybody that, you know, didn't have coveralls and grease all over them and stuff. And, you know, my first job was a trash man. And so, yeah, I don't know, I wasn't used to people like in white clothes, I guess. So what I did is every place I went, I waved everybody I looked at. That's all I did is waved. Waved everybody, and they all looked at me. And then I pushed the cart. And I went every corner, because I had films to deliver. And they just came up and talked to me. I just waved. I waved to them. Crazy, huh? So after I accomplished that mission, I didn't get no medal, so I quit that job. I'm kidding. So anyways, how you doing?
Well, I'm cooled down.
Down here with Mike.
I cut my hair 2 days ago. It's a little breeze, and I have one door open, so I don't have to get the breeze all the way through.
It's way cooler today than it was yesterday. But a week ago it was hot. Yeah, I know. No, but I did find 2 eagle feathers. Went to the lake. It was cool. And I was glad to be back, but I'm kind of in shock because of not like a heart attack or whatever. You know, I've been in shock since 1964. You know, we're not going to know the truth until, you know, court and all that is over with. Then we'll know the truth. When it's on Fox. When it's on Fox News, we'll know the truth.
Right. Well, I was looking at something. The Forbidden Truth, according to King James. But I had...
Hey, it's in your heart. It's written on your heart anyway.
Yes.
It's written in your heart anyway, so it don't matter.
But I have this one, and it says, this is, I told you, the Thompson's Chain Reference, 88, 5th edition, 1988, 5th edition. But I just opened it up randomly to this location, 1 Corinthians. And I always say, I don't use any part of the Bible unless I need it, or unless I'm interested. So what I'll usually do is just open a random part of the Bible. So I just happen to open up here to 1 Corinthians to see what it says. And I just looked down, and then it said down here in 1 Corinthians, the first epistle of Paul, the apostle to the Corinthians, chapter 1, verse 17. But in the Forbidden Truth, there wouldn't be any verse numbers. It's just, in the Forbidden Truth, there's no verse numbers. Right. No verse numbers, only a chapter number. So this is chapter 1, what it says in King James, and I've just picked it out.
And the other thing, before even King James authorized it, you can even mention one verse, any kind of a verse. You might get your head chopped off. That's the thing. You know what I'm saying? I mean, way before the verse numbers, you even mention, hey, can we just maybe print one verse? You get your head chopped off. Until he authorized it, you know what I mean? So I don't know about the numbers, but I'm not into the numbers anything. Anyway,
true. It's words. It's words.
I think verse numbers are, you know what I think verse numbers are for? It's so like, if you got this guy that the Lord just set him free, delivered him, you can take a verse, a number, and you can drive that guy's foot, a stake right through his foot, and make him stay right there, right where that verse says. That's what the numbers are for. You know what I mean? Numbers don't even never make sense to me.
Yeah. I agree.
When I was before, like, it did, I think my first memory verse, right? It took me probably, I don't know, maybe 3 days. I don't know how long it took me, but for God so loved the world. So that was my first introduction to what a verse was.
And you have to say it without...
John 3:16. You know what that's all about, right? Well, we all know what John 3:16. Yeah, the Lord set us free. We're believers. Well, go check out Malachi, blah, whatever. Go check out the scripture about hell where you're going if you don't agree with me. That's what I think about all this. I mean, it's cool for people like us, right? Me and you, if somebody says something, I want to know the verse number, of course. Or just tell me the chapter. Or just tell me the book.
Yeah.
Is it Old Testament, New Testament? Can you tell me anywhere where you heard of them? That's usually what it comes down to. Right? So
Yeah.
the Bible says, oh, really? What are you talking about? Well, it says they can't quote the scripture or nothing, but, well, then you're like, okay, what chapter, what book, you know? Okay, is it new to old? Because they don't know what the hell they're talking about. I don't even discuss it with anybody. It's kind of fun. Nobody even wants to talk about it, because I ask them, have you read the Bible? And they say, no. What are you talking about, dude? I'm totally not understanding. Everything you're talking to me right now, I have no clue what you're talking about. You know what it is? It's Christian mental illness. He's telling me what the Bible says, and he's never read it. There's something wrong there. You know what I'm saying? To me, I'm just pretty basic. But to me, that's weird. You know what I mean? It's kind of like those when I was telling you, this guy sells 32-ounce Coca-Cola all day long, but he don't know what the price is. How can that be? Don't they have a big thing that looks like you're going 219 miles an hour in your race car when you're playing a video game? As you're working there? You can work, and play your video games around here. Ridiculous.
Why not?
Not the minimum wage part. Not the minimum wage part. That's great. It should be about $25 an hour. But the thing where he can play his video games, and then, wait till he decides, once you make your decision what you want, then he'll decide whether he wants to say, can I help you? All right?
Where are they watching these movies?
Okay, you can they don't have any arms anymore because they're too realistic. A one-arm bandit is more realistic. You're just putting your money into an ATM. You put your money into an ATM and you're gonna leave it there for a while, right? You'd have places like that in California where you go into the place where they sell cigarettes and Miller's Genuine Draft and ice cold water. They give you all the coffee you want for free, and a soda, Yeah, you can get Dr. Pepper, a little cup, ice, free.
They have
Or you put money into the ATM machine.
water.
Like, there was like, well, I don't like giving money to that. And I walk up to them and said, that's the best machine right there. That machine right there takes the most money. And they're looking at me. They're looking at it's like this little midget ATM, you know? They don't like me. I mean, people that think they're all cool and then go spend their paycheck for their house payment and lose it, but change. Adam tried to tell her back then, and we're still trying to tell her. And they just keep, you know, I mean, now they're just taking their shirts off and leaning out the window to get their money. You know what I'm saying? I'm kidding. That's not a joke. But I think it should be required for anybody that goes to a drive-thru teller woman.
Studio out here so we can do some face-to-face collaborating.
We should. He was dropped off, and he's 65 years old or something like that. So he's an older guy. He dropped off in Seattle, got a bike. He rode all the way down here, like just on this side of the border. And he wanted to go up to where he's never been to California. He's been all over the United States, never been to California. And I was going to ride with him. And his bike, he must have had a lot of faith. But we tried to find a way, and you can't ride on the freeway in California. And he wanted to ride on the freeway because, we couldn't find a road. I didn't know a road to get there, you know, on bicycles. But I was ready to go, and I thought it was fun. So,
Well, if
I'll
they
do
would-
it. I'll get it over there.
So what you're saying is I'm going to have to get involved in a citizen action league to change the laws to let people ride over on bicycles on the freeway.
No,
Maybe.
I won't ride on the freeway anyways. I was going to serve as a slave to Christ. I was going there with him because that was his dream. Right? He wanted to go all the way to San Diego. He wanted to go to Hollywood. He'd been all over because he was a hitchhiker. And, you know, and I was going to, you know, and I tried to talk him into going, like, back to the coast up in Canada, start from there. That'd be easier. And he's like, oh, I just came back that way. I'm not going back that way. So it must not have been that fun coming. So, but I was wanting to go for just for him. So he's probably just bullshit. He's like, I don't really want to do that. I pinned him down. He had to make something up. But he was a character. Yeah, he's funny. He's a great character. Good character. He's one of those. Everything was solved in his head, you know. Everything else was, but he was like happy. He was happy. It's cool. You know, your book is the first Christian book. You know that.
I think so.
The Bible's not a Christian book. The Bible's not a Christian book, anyways. And that's why I like your book, because it's straight, point to the view.
Well, it's honest.
To the point, you know.
It tells the truth.
It's a Christian book.
At least about what it is. Yes.
Well, it's a Christian book for sure.
This is a Christian book. Is a Christian book for sure. That is true.
I didn't know. This is a Christian book, and it says, I can't remember what the parentheses says.
Oh, definitions, meanings, implications of things.
Definitions.
Here is an excerpt from my book. Yeah.
I don't have it with me right now. It's because I've read it twice, and every time I pick it up, I can read it real quick. Not real quick. I can read it in one day if I wanted to. Easy to read in one. It's a wonderful read one day, but I like to read it every time I pick it up. You know what I'm saying? I do. Every time I pick it up, I learn something. And I've already read it twice, and I like it the way it is. It's cool if you read it. I'll tell you, when you read it without looking at the footnotes, it really opens up your mind. Totally opens up your mind. And then you read it with the footnotes, you can handle it. Because your mind's opened up. That's how I look at it. And it's hilarious but true. He's trying to tell me how he believes, and I'm trying to tell him how the way I believe is just as Christian as the way he believes. We get along great. Anyways, I'm kidding. But anyways, this guy. But I'm gonna let you go.
The Forbidden Truth,
Buy it.
and this is a Christian book.
It's so much cheaper than the book I wrote. You know, I think
True. We need to make some kind of a deal where a group or organization could buy a certain number of books that would make the quantity lower the price of the individual book, so you could get them for cheaper if they ordered, say, 100. and then we could throw in the other book probably for almost nothing, because that, yeah, but the other book will almost cost nothing compared to the big book.
If they want to be a member of anything like the Kingdom of God, this would be my best bet. Get the package. You buy the package. It's your book, my book. It comes in 2 different boxes, because it's almost like Kryptonite, Dynamite, and Superman. You can't put it on the same mail truck, you know what I'm saying? It's powerful. It's the Forbidden Truth according to King James, and this is a Christian book. And, I mean, there ain't nothing else you need to know. Well, I'm seriously, right? I mean, if you're interested,
Agreed. I agree.
I think this is a Christian book is awesome, because it is. It's the first Christian book ever. Very first one that I've ever written. Or ever seen. I didn't write it.
It is for Christians first. I was thinking about how to explain it and market whatever it is.
This is what I want to say. But if people get that book and they think it's a Christian book, they're going to be surprised, even though it is a Christian book. Your books. And then they got so mad because they into these books, and then they went and bought like 1 million other your books and just burned them.
The money for it. Yeah, if they got, you mean because they get mad because they, yeah, I'd get the money.
Of course, that's what I was hoping, that this is the Forbidden Truth according to King James.
But I hope they don't burn the book. I wouldn't want them to burn it.
Have a big bonfire, you know. Get it from Amazon. You can get it from Amazon. It's right there. Get it. That'd be cool. Yeah, how many you want to burn? 1,000 copies? Okay, I'm sending over right away. Hey, that's too much truth right there. We got to stop.
Yeah. Amen.
People put smoke screens up, kind of like the news does. According to Donald Trump. Hey, you ought to write a book about fake news according to Donald Trump. Or fake news according to the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump. Or...
I don't know what the J stands for.
Anyway.
Hey, that's not a bad idea.
Brother.
I think I'll work on that.
The third one sometimes is free, given that it probably doesn't matter. Now that you get 2 of them. And the more abortions you can have in your cereal, the more and more and more you can. Isn't that what you want? Just to forget about it, don't look at it, never have to think about it. Just have somebody else do it for you. All you gotta do is push a button, swipe. And then it's certain to take it out. Oh, yeah. Back now to the regularly scheduled broadcast.
Christ sent me not to baptize, but to preach the gospel, not with wisdom of words, lest the cross of Christ should be made of none effect.
And let's go ahead and say it, not a comedy. Watching what some do and watching what others do. Everyone's watching someone, everything is watching another thing. Who is watching who and who and what is watching you? In return, or in other words, what are you getting in return, so to speak? And this will also have to do with your zip code, which will also feature very heavily into the following. Where do you report to find out whose team is winning? And also to celebrate that the fact if it is your team that's winning. Positive reminders, in other words, community service advertisements, if you will. This is not a joke. These are not jokes. Unless you find them to be funny and to be jokes. In that case, then I guess it is funny. And these are jokes. In which case, go ahead and enjoy the laugh while you can. Back to the Christian Internet Report. Yes. And bringing the conversation back to the book. This is a Christian book. Great, thank you. And now getting back to the discussion of the book. This book. This is a Christian book. That is the book. Well, you can.
July 27, 2018.
Friday.
Yeah, it's Friday. So, what's happening tonight? What's the deal tonight?
We're going to an EDM show after we hang out.
Yeah, an EDM show?
Yeah.
All right, well, we're going to an EDM show. This might be better right here. Yeah, it sounds like a lot of fun for you guys, and I am very hopeful that you'll come back with a lot of cool stories.
Yeah.
So
I just want Sean to experience it, so you can relate to what I'm talking about when I'm referencing that shit.
Yeah. We are talking also about because we're obviously we're recording this, right?
Yeah.
And we are recording for the archive, the official archive. But this is something that will be considered, we'll state, this is before the record, because we're recording it.
Yeah.
So if you're going to have something recorded, you have to be careful what you say.
Right. That's correct.
So, but, hopefully that we don't say anything that we don't want recorded for history. I mean, we can always delete it. But we don't want to delete too much. What I mean by deleting is you can always go in and choose what pieces of the audio you want to use later, which is what more than likely we're going to do. Because I do not seek celebrity, I do not seek to have any name recognition as a part of the movie. You know that, but you know my purpose in the movie is to support you.
So am I gonna warp your voice?
That's a good question, though. I'm going to
We'll just blur your face. Pixelate you. You'll be a pixel.
Yeah,
You'll
no.
be going blue. And
No, you won't have to pixel it because I won't be on there. Well, how are you going to be
I'll
presented?
turn you into 2 pixels.
Yeah, how are you going to? Are you going to be on camera?
Yeah, most definitely.
How will you? How
Not with
will
this, though.
the director present himself?
Just casual conversation, man. Just on lens.
Yeah, are you going to lens yourself in a certain way or
No.
getting a camera?
Everybody. No, I'm just.
Hey, do
gonna
me a
use
favor.
my-
Can you turn that on? Flip that
I'm
on.
gonna use my Samsung to do a pretty good job.
Yeah. Okay, so
Yeah.
but
Okay.
yeah. So, but now I did. There are some people that do want to be on camera. I'm not one of those people.
Here's a conversation I wanted to have on camera. Or on
Well, this is as close as you're getting to the camera.
because both of you were present at the time. Do you remember the time we were eating at a Coco? It was either a Coco's, a Denny's, or a Marie Callender's.
Yeah.
One of the, and our drinks had already come. We're getting ready
Right.
to order our food, and Bob, and he said, "There's a reason why God told me to come here and sit with you guys, and or come in here tonight, and I see what it is, you guys." So he sat with us. Do you
Yeah.
remember what he said?
Learning, just learning.
Yeah.
I learned a lot.
Yeah. And then he also said there's giants in the room right now. He goes, giants for the end times. And he says, not everybody were with us, maybe. I know you two were there, but I can't remember who else was there. I'm thinking it was either or both of them, one of them. But he says, but not all of you are giants. Not all of you are going to make it. And he said, but there are giants in this, sitting at this table right now that I'm at right now. And he goes, that's what struck me the most. And that stuck with me all this time. And I was kind of determined, like, yeah, I'm not gonna be the guy that he was talking about that's not gonna make it. I'm gonna be the one that's gonna make it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so all this time I was, you know, watching your guys' lives too, a little bit up till 2010, and I lost track of both of you, you know, whatever. But I was thinking, man, none of the three of us look like we're gonna fucking make it. How could any of us be giants? How could that fucking thing be true? He's dead, and John. I don't know. I'm exaggerating, but I remembered that, and then I thought. And Randy's an atheist at the time, you know, back when I'm thinking this thing. And who knows what Sean's fucking doing? I don't know what Sean's doing. And I'm not living the life. I'm fucking hanging out with pickup artists, you know. But in my mind, that prophecy's always come back to me. There are giants, plural, here at the table. But not all of you. Some of you aren't going to make it. It's just
So we know he's not talking about him. He's already gone. So, some means like, it's all of us.
I could now that I've come back together with you guys, I could see that it could be all three of us.
Well, I could see, not only can I see that you can see that, but I can also see how you could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see it that way, but I'm sure you can see it that way.
I can see it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure you see a lot of things right now that I don't see because we're two different people.
Oh yeah.
And we have two different cycles of feeling and thinking.
Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John.
You know what I mean?
Matthew,
when
Mark,
I'm in,
Matthew, Mark, Luke,
dude, hey, when I'm in a manic stage,
yeah.
and I look back,
Uh-huh.
and a lot of this really does require a mania to create connections out of your imagination that are functionally correct enough to actually line up with the events that occurred. So you could say, oh, this person wasn't one of them because they're dead, but that's your opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. No, he was a
Right?
giant.
But no,
Potentially he
well,
was.
it is your opinion that
With the end.
anything, so like if you label or define anyone as anything,
Oh yeah.
like for instance, in your opinion, any one of us could look around and say, well, based on my standard, the way I standard myself, that person doesn't meet my standard, they're out. To
me, what a giant is somebody doing exploits for God, like on a big scale.
right. So in other words,
That's
in your
my
opinion,
opinion
right.
of a
So
giant.
in your opinion,
Yeah.
right. So what I'm saying is, I can see how you would see that.
Yeah.
I don't see it that way, but I can see how you would see that.
Yeah.
I usually don't have any reason or purpose in stating I don't see things the way the other person sees it. Usually in a conversation I would just let it go,
Everybody
but
sees things
because we're recording it,
Yeah.
I don't want whoever hears this to get the impression that I agree with you, that I
okay.
that I also agree that that is actually what occurred, because in my mind
I see what you're saying.
I don't believe anything of the sort.
You don't
of
remember
that
him saying that?
No, I remember all of it. But what I'm saying is, all of that, the outcome that you've ascribed,
Uh-huh.
and the prescription that you've assigned the meanings of all things that occurred in between,
Yeah.
I don't think in those terms, and I don't perform those behaviors.
That's fine.
Yeah, and every person's different.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter to me if it's fine with you or anybody else. What matters to me is that normally when I'm having a conversation, I don't feel the need to clarify.
But since you're
But because
recording-
I'm recording,
okay.
I don't want someone to think, because of my
That you
past
that you
mania,
validated.
that I have spoken in those terms that you've spoken in. And it is true.
What do you think, Bob?
Okay, look, I like it like
But
this.
as again,
There's a certain power.
meant is different from defining someone else as this or that. For instance, when you
Okay.
defined me as an atheist, that's fine in your
And
opinion.
I'm not even so sure God meant by.
that God was speaking through Bob.
I'm assuming.
Okay, that's good. That's your opinion that God was speaking through Bob. And what do I assume that Bob was? Because I don't know what his meaning was. I ascribed the meaning.
Yeah.
I believe his intent was to uplift and
Encourage.
motivate
Well, there
some
it is.
young people to do good works and lead better lives. That's what I
Yes.
believe his intent
Oh, yeah,
was.
yeah.
If that's the case, then
And I
why
and
not
I
agree?
believe that his intent
Or to
was
plant
to,
a seed that comes back to memory. 30
Yes,
years
and
later.
I believe it was his intent. What I know of that person, I believe it was that person's intent to be as honest as they could be and be as truthful as they could be in a way that would uplift and not exclude and include, but also point out a challenge that people could strive for, anyone that was in the room.
Yeah.
Because anyone that was in the room could have heard that and said, oh, I respect that person's
be on that
opinion
side.
of what
Yeah.
he would normally define a quote giant, end quote giant
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Therefore, I like his definition of what a giant is, so I'm hoping that he was talking about me.
Yeah.
So by my behavior, I'm going to make it so. In the following sense.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the movie Saving Private Ryan?
Yes.
At the end of the movie, he says, earn this. And at the beginning of the movie, the guy that they saved at the end said, have I lived a good life? That's what that means. That's what occurred there.
Yeah.
So when, in my opinion, I believe that this person had the intention was to perform the support that would say,
Yeah.
there's someone in here that's going to elevate to the level of the standard that I hold.
Yeah.
And if you want that, to do it. But I'm giving you that idea. I'm giving you that hope.
Yeah.
And then you can run for that, or you can do that or not. The normal human way of thinking, especially in a society where we were raised to build a border wall between your groceries and the other person's groceries in back of you, is to immediately assume that everything that comes down from the heavens is to be used as a weapon to destroy your enemy in a debate.
No.
And then, well, you don't think that. You don't think that. But yet, we had this conversation the other night where we said, and you agreed, and we all know it's true, that 90% of Christians are going to behave this way in the last days. It says in the book of Revelation.
Yeah.
It does. So why is the church still covering up for the missing of the mark in the church? Why don't they just say, hey, instead of doing all this out to the world stuff, why doesn't the church focus in on the church and say 90% of the church is apostate? It's right in the New Testament, because they don't care about the New Testament. They're too busy looking at TV and building border walls between their groceries and buying a car that's not out for 3 years.
Sure, that's for sure.
And quite frankly, doing comedy shows and going to EDMs.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do, as my grandma used to say, with going to heaven.
Yeah.
Neither does my opinion or anyone else's. But I want it stated for the record that I am not a person that is a giant because I am or am not an atheist.
What?
Well, because earlier in the conversation, I do not hold the opinion that a person is or is a giant whether or not they are an atheist. Earlier in your conversation, you
Well,
said
at that time, yeah.
you said he was an atheist, and I was thinking, oh, he couldn't be a giant. So I'm going to help this conversation as well, because I assume that you do not believe that if
Not
a person's
a
an
giant
atheist, they can't
God.
be a giant.
Yeah, because they
Because
that
I'm an
know their
atheist.
God will do exploits.
Well,
Be
let me
strong
tell you
and do
something.
exploits.
I'm an atheist right now, and I do know how much I'm an atheist. And
But do you know your God?
well, you
That's what matters.
Okay,
Ultimately,
right.
that's what
And see what? So what you've done now is you've created. We're going to talk about this. what we've done now is we've stated a thing that we're going to define.
Yeah.
But now we're now supposing that there is already a thing there underneath that's been defined that hasn't been defined, and that is that we're assuming that this is real in the first place. See, you're making certain assumptions by saying by a certain standard.
I'm aligning myself with what is real.
With what you assume is real based on a book that you read. Well, and that's
what it is real.
Okay, well, right. And so in your opinion, that is totally real. Is it not your opinion that that is completely real?
It is my opinion.
Great. Then
I feel like I've been to the other side enough to know.
Many of us have been to the other side.
What is real and what is not real.
Yeah, many of us have been.
To me, it is real.
And I totally agree with that statement. And that I can get behind 100%.
And there is one, there has to be one.
And as an atheist,
there has to be one
and
reality.
speaking as an atheist,
yeah,
that would open any religious book and say, show me the God of that book, and I will prove to you that God does not exist.
Yeah.
That is what I am.
Okay.
And to say that I'm just making it clear for the record that it is my belief that some of the greatest giants, that is to say, some of those that have performed the greatest works that are provable if you pick any text. If you want to just go with the text that is written on your heart, that's fine too.
Yeah.
That these are acts of goodness from, as people would quote, on God, unquote, and they're atheists. And they do a better job of acting like that God than people that claim to believe in God. So therefore, even if a person, well,
go ahead.
I wouldn't say that because I wouldn't know if a person is or not. I have to judge every person. I've not met every single atheist. Only the ones I know.
No.
Only me. I know several atheists that act more like what the New Testament says Christ acted like.
Anything for God, you have to believe in Him. They that come to God must believe that He
exists
and that it is
this I totally agree with.
Diligently seek.
This I totally agree with. Because in order for me to sell a Ford vehicle, I have to believe that a Ford vehicle exists.
Yes.
Otherwise, I'm wasting my time.
Yes.
So I'm in agreement on that.
Yeah.
So this is why I'm not setting out to do anything for God.
Oh.
No. Nothing like that. No. I'm not setting out to do...
He's already prepared things for you to walk in advance.
Yeah, and according to you, that...
Not according to me. This is according to Ephesians chapter.
Okay, according to your opinion, that is true for me as well as you. According to your opinion, in your opinion, that is true for me as well as for me.
It's
right?
true for everybody.
Okay, so in your opinion, what's good for you is good for everybody. Everybody needs what you have to have.
It's not my opinion. You look it up.
Okay, no, I know where it's at.
Ephesians chapter 2.
Right, it is my opinion.
You are God's workmanship,
right.
created in Christ Jesus, under good works, which God
it is my opinion
ordained that you should walk in them.
Right, it is my opinion. So is that your opinion? And is that your opinion? That is for everybody.
Yes.
Okay, good. I agree with you that is your opinion. That is for everybody. Now, do you want to know my opinion about that? My opinion about that is that is for everybody too that wants it.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good thing.
So many people don't walk in it. Many are called, but few are chosen.
That's fine. But here's what I was saying. We were raised in a society, and I believe also it's probably the human nature of some, not all, that, and including 90% of Christians, that if you present a statement that everybody agrees on, like we just did, it takes them 7 hours to do it because there's the built-in idea that it's a confrontation instead of just a conversation.
Yeah.
And then once they do agree, whoever's the better Christian has to say at the end, yeah, but.
No, who said that?
Or they have to say, no, who said that? I used to be this person. This is what I'm saying. This is an honest interview for the record. We're going to use this for the movie if you want.
You used to be me?
Yeah, I used to be that way. Remember you used to be the guy that wasn't honest?
Oh, I know I was the guy that wasn't.
No, and you told me that.
I hated that.
No, and you told me that about 2 weeks ago. You are 100% transparent now.
Yes.
So am I. The only thing I am not 100% transparent about is exactly what kind of porn I'm looking at and how often.
Okay.
I don't give exact titles.
I'd rather not know that. Yeah, that's good information.
But everything else I'm 100% everything else I'm 100% transparent with. Not because I'm bothered by that other information, because it would bother other people.
Yeah.
I don't care about that information personally. In fact, Do you? That stuff doesn't bother me.
I just don't care.
It's not a big deal. But on the other hand, if you're talking right with you, that it's not a big deal, right? Notice I only said.
Your fans want to know though.
On the other hand, this is what I said. Now look, this is what I was talking about earlier.
Okay.
They really want. They want.
You can get Christians.
Yeah.
Since we're talking about this Christian thing,
Yeah.
they can talk about anything and it's totally normal until they start talking about Christians of the Bible, and then suddenly they start adding a bunch of buts, howevers, and nots, and who says. But when it was the other thing, you said, hey, I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. But when it comes to Christians in the Bible, it's a bunch of those other things. And this is what I'm saying is we've been programmed from in our society that we live in this society, that everything is a struggle between your side of the border and mine. And this is what the church replicates. The church, this organization called Religious Church, has organized itself according to the society that is gained the approval of to operate as a business with an operator's license from the state. And they operate as a Christian factory.
What do I have to do with that?
What do you have to do with it?
Yeah.
Nothing if you don't want to.
I don't want to.
Well, then don't be a Christian.
No. That's
Because if you're a Christian, your job is to point it out to the church that's apostate and call them out. If you're a Christian, your job is to be an evangelist and start with yourself, then to Christians, then to the world. Now, if you believe that that you have a vocational calling to speak to one group over another, that I would totally agree with that too.
Yeah.
But I'm not stating that I am the judge of whether or not you're doing that. I think the difference in lexiconal terms is not we have different ideas. It's that as my former years as a former one of those Christians.
Yeah.
Yes, not all Christians, Christian. I got so used to the language of, all right, guys, we've got to build up the blockade around the Bible now. No, come on, the Bible is not, it's a book. It's nothing to worry about. Why do I care what people think or say about the Bible? What'd you say?
I don't care what they say about the
That's
Bible.
right. But yet, just a minute ago, you were acting like it was a big deal if I said certain things that didn't line up with your opinion of the Bible.
Look, are you
No,
a giant?
I wasn't saying that.
Wait a minute. Let's
I'm
get
just
cut to the chase.
saying
Are you a giant or what?
So,
this is what the Bible says. So
I think we should just drop all terms like atheist, sin, because these are antiquated terms. Christians, there's no reason for them to use that if they are serious about bringing the gospel to fruition today. We talked about this.
I agree.
The reason why people don't see the book of Acts is because they're stuck in the book of Acts. They need to throw the Bible in the trash and start living the Bible.
Yeah. But how are they going to know what the Bible says?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe they'll see us be nice to them, being nice, letting somebody cut in front of line, in front of us at the supermarket.
They still got to know.
Donating
what the
money
Bible
to charity.
says.
Wait, they have to know what the Bible says, and they shall know you by your fruits.
Faith comes by hearing, and hearing by the word of God.
Well, then you can choose to carry around a book if you want to, but I'm choosing to show by deed and word.
I'm carrying around 47 books.
Go do it. Hey, you know what? I believe you.
47
And if
different versions
and if
of the
that's how
Bible.
you want to live your life, that's fine with me. I personally don't want to live my life according to following a book of rules, where I have to tell somebody, how do you believe on the Lord Jesus Christ? No. Well, first you have to read this book.
Who said that?
You just said you need to read a book before they can get saved.
No, I did not say that.
You
I
said,
faith
how
comes
will
by
they
hearing,
hear? Okay.
and
Well,
hearing by the word of
why
God.
here I got some good news for you. You don't have to live by any rules. Isn't that good news?
The message has to be transferred some way or another.
It is. I just told you. You don't have to live by any set of rules. All you got to do is love your neighbor and love yourself. That's it. Isn't that great news? Hey, you want to go watch a movie with me?
No,
The
that's
Revenge
not
of the
all
Sith
you
is playing out there. Oh, that's not good enough?
No.
That's not good enough to get saved?
No.
Oh, so you have to follow what?
You have to call on the name of the Lord.
Oh, where'd you get that?
Several places in the Bible.
Oh, so in other words, you have to follow the Bible to get saved.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. At least you're being honest. I can accept that. I can't accept dishonesty. Yes, I can accept that. But I disagree with it, but you get it because you're a debater. Until there is articulation, you weren't being dishonest in the sense of you were trying to in a malicious way lie to me. But you were being dishonest in that your brain didn't understand that that was impossible to reconcile what you just said with what you just meant, which is this. That if you were having a conversation and two people are talking about two things that are the same or different, until the person can say, I disagree or agree with that thing you just said, I have to know exactly what it is you are exactly saying.
Yeah.
And what you are exactly saying is, the Bible says the following. In order to be saved, you must, quote, call on the name of the Lord.
Yes.
Got it. And in your opinion, this is being honest, and I'm seeing if I'm saying this back to you, if this is what you're saying. And in your opinion, in order to be, we'll get to the definition of saved in a minute. I don't need that.
Okay.
But in order to be saved, quote, saved, end quote, a person needs to exactly follow that prescription of the Bible in some way, verbally or physically. If they can't talk, they can mentally assent to calling on the Lord. Okay. And you get that from a book. And in order to get that, you have to have a book. So if once knowing that...
Or somebody has to have told me that.
Okay. That's fine. I can buy that too. But what I'm saying is,
the message has to be
I'm
passed on.
finding this, originally with you it says it has to come from it has to be a formula of some kind. In other words, I guess what I'm getting at also then in
You had
addition
to heard it from somewhere, yes.
Fine.
Yes.
Fine. I've heard it from a lot of people. And what I did was I decided to drop the Bible out of it, and I decided to just go up to people and say, hey, guess what? Everybody's free, and we can do whatever we want. All we have to do is love and peace. Do you want to go watch a movie with me? And if they ask me, how can you say that? Haven't you seen the news? You know what I'm going to tell them? I have. Jesus lives. Now you want to go see a movie? Chances are they either won't will at that point, but that's what they're going to hear.
Right.
But I have no reason to beat them where they ask.
I know, but
No,
isn't it
I
fun
don't.
just to do that?
Also, they're already saved. If they're already living with no rules and go to the movies with me, they're already saved.
I think everybody.
No.
We're saved.
Have they been brought from death to life? That's what makes you saved.
Right, well, right, but according to the New Testament,
It's something that happens to you.
Christ brought us all from death to life, unless you don't believe that one sacrifice was good for all and we have to repeat it over and over.
Yeah, but you don't experience it yourself until you call on the name of the Lord
Well,
or believe in your heart.
According to your opinion, yes, I could see how you would agree with that because I used to think that.
That's what the Muslims say too, though.
Everybody has their book.
Wait a minute.
Like every god is real, even Superman.
You can just go like.